Hey guys, what's up? Spectre here, and CD Projekt Red has been in the news lately again for reasons that aren't completely terrible, and so I thought we'd check in, just to see what's going on, specifically with their latest studio acquisition. That could mean that they're doubling down on multiplayer, as well as the recent game update and more. Let's jump in. We'll start off with something new that many aren't discussing as much. CD Projekt Red has recently filed the paperwork to acquire Canadian studio Digital Scapes. This partnership is nothing new, as I'll get to in a second, but there's a few reasons why CDPR may have made this move, stepping it up from a partnership to a full-on acquisition. Having a global network of studios allows work to be done virtually around the clock, perhaps speeding up project timelines and just adding a wealth of resources to the already large team at CDPR. But the type of expertise that Digital Scapes brings to the table lies in multiplayer. The Vancouver studio, founded by BioWare veterans as well as talent from Radical Entertainment and Relic, have worked on games such as Company of Heroes, Warhammer 40k, and Dying Light. When speaking on the acquisition, CDPR's head of production had this to say: "We believe that the hugely talented Digital Scapes crew is the perfect foundation upon which to build a wider CD Projekt Red Vancouver team. As I stated earlier, this partnership isn't new, just the level of involvement is, with Digital Scapes being converted wholesale into CD Projekt Vancouver. But in 2018, this partnership was announced as a long-term plan to help with the production of Cyberpunk 2077, as well as its multiplayer component, and who better to do that than Digital Scapes, a studio rooted in that kind of gameplay. For those who may have forgotten, CD Projekt Red was given a multi-million-dollar grant from the Polish government to create innovative multiplayer gameplay systems focusing on seamless play. This separate multiplayer release was set for about a year after Cyberpunk 2077's launch, but subsequent delays and additional dev time for updates as well as the company hack have set this timeline off. So we still know very little about this multiplayer mode aside from its separate existence, the folks behind it, and the fact that monetization in it is hopefully going to make people happy to spend their money, rather than being predatory, as CDPR's CEO put it back in 2020. I think this is an effort to really double down on what multiplayer will be. With the controversial reception of Cyberpunk 2077, I don't think CDPR wants to fumble this launch, a launch of a multiplayer game that's set to be billed as innovative, seamless, and grand in its own right. Remember last time we heard language like that?
Welcome to the next generation of open-world adventure. Immerse yourself in Cyberpunk 2077.
I'm sure CDPR wants to have their ducks in a row for a hopefully triumphant comeback. Having a global team in multiple time zones also means the kind of 24/7 support that a service like this might need. And it seems that CDPR has been working their devs as much as possible, so spreading that work around may prove even more useful. But it also leads us to the next story. Apparently CDPR is planning on splitting development and will be working on games in the Witcher universe as well as the Cyberpunk franchise simultaneously beginning next year. This may be a direct result of that acquisition, with those additional resources allowing work to be split this way. They'll also be staffing up and bolstering their internal game engine to allow for new features like NPC routines and more, with these new tools being used in their games across the board. CDPR CTO said this specifically: "We want to be sure that we can work with two global brands at the same time while ensuring top quality on our products. We emphasize technological advancements, and we want to set up versatile teams which combine various specializations and competencies. These teams will be further assisted by a cross-projects group of experts who, owing to their expertise, can contribute to key aspects of development. All these changes aim to enable us to work on multiple AAA games and expansions in parallel starting in 2022. That's not all he said, however, as CD Projekt Red made it clear that they'll be much more careful moving forward with announcement language to avoid future criticism similar to the backlash they faced with Cyberpunk 2077. So I imagine this might mean CDPR will be even more tight-lipped than they were before, though they did say that in 2021, Cyberpunk would see patches and updates, as well as free DLC and that next-gen update. And speaking of updates, the biggest Cyberpunk patch to date, Update 1.2, was recently released, and overall receptions are pretty good. Personally, I play on PC, a very capable one, and so I never really saw game-breaking issues, but console has always been a different discussion. For those of you who may have shied away from the game, this could be a good time to pick it back up and give it a whirl. It includes around 500 bug and glitch fixes, as well as improvements to driving, stability upgrades, as well as performance upgrades and visual glitch fixes. The patch notes themselves are enormous, and so is the update itself, coming in at over 30 gigs on PC and over 40 on consoles. So if you haven't, definitely get it downloaded and give it a spin. More fixes are still on the way, however, and this seems to just be the beginning of CDPR getting back on their feet. But that's about it for this Cyberpunk news update. If you enjoyed this video, please do consider liking and subbing, as I'll also be covering upcoming games like Kena Bridge of Spirits, Biomutant, and Ghostwire Tokyo. If you'd enjoy some more Cyberpunk content though, I've got plenty of lore dives for you to enjoy on the channel, as well as mod compilation videos if that's more your style. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.